I get to Surah 51, Ayat 47, and it says, "Indeed, we constructed the universe with power, and we are its expanders." So I'm like, "Yo, man." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "What was this book ring?" He's like, "Check the copyright." I'm like, "Nah, man." I'm like, "What was the book ring?" I'm like, "How do they know this?" You know what I mean?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I am joined with the Hameed family.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Allahu Akbar. I'm
I'm
Talib, and
Amara.
our channel is the Hameed family. So we have a family channel that we just started on YouTube after reverting to Islam, in hopes to bring family back together and spreading Islam at the same time. Because as we know right now, in the United States, they try to separate the family with devices and things of that nature, and they try to take out Islam as far as in the household and things of that nature. So this is why we created our channel, is to spread that message and bring everything back together as one with peace.
Alhamdulillah, mashallah. So I saw your channel, it's absolutely incredible. And it's amazing seeing how an entire family can come towards Islam. That's amazing. And I don't know yet what your story is. So I'm very excited to find out. So I think the first question I want to ask you is, before you guys became Muslim, were you religious? Like, did you have a religion? Did you believe in God? What was the situation?
I think in our background of our culture, which we are Cape Verdeans, our family were Catholics. And then, after my mom passed away, I lived with my aunt. She was a Jehovah's Witness, so I was brought into that. But I never felt right in those religions. It didn't sit right with me. And then slowly after, as a young adult, having kids, I always had the intuition of there's a God, there's a higher being, a higher power that I always searched for. And then I got into Christianity. And with that, just didn't fit as well. There was a lot of contradictions with what was going on and what was being taught to us. So it just didn't seem right. And I just didn't want anything else to do with religion after that, after I gave that up. I just wanted to try to live my life right and take care of my kids. And that was going to be it. And, he came into the picture of introducing Islam to me. But
well, I just want to say first, when I first met her, this was before we had kids.
Yeah.
I remember I was a Christian then, but I didn't really believe in what the Christians were teaching. But in my heart, I knew there was one God overall. And we were having a discussion, and she told me she didn't believe in God and just a higher power. She don't believe in the religions and stuff. But I'm like, there is a religion for it. I just don't know what it is, but there is. And I was just going in. I don't know what I was on, but I was just telling her, like, how do you know your dead relatives or your deceased loved ones didn't want me to come to you and tell you, like, well, what if I was supposed to come to you and lead you to the right religion? You know what I'm saying? And at the time, I wasn't even looking into Islam, and I was telling her this, and this is like 6 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think I started crying. Was I crying?
No, you was not crying.
I was on the verge.
I was very emotional. Yeah, you was very emotional.
And I'm like, this is what it is. I'm like, I'm telling you, I had gotten incarcerated, and while I was incarcerated, someone handed me a Quran, and I started reading it. But previous to that Quran, like a couple months before, I seen in a magazine that modern science has concrete evidence that the universe is expanding. So 2 months later, I'm reading the Quran. A friend gives it to me. He kind of like forces me to read it. I'm like, all right, I ain't got nothing else to do. I'm sitting in jail. So I get to Surah 51, Ayat 47, and it says, "Indeed, we constructed the universe with power, and we are its expanders." So I'm like, "Yo, man." He's like, "What?" I'm like, "What was this book ring?" He's like, "Check the copyright." I'm like, "Nah, man." I'm like, "What was the book ring?" I'm like, "How do they know this?" You know what I mean? And then, I come home and to Amara, and
I was a Christian.
yeah, she was a Christian, man. I was like, man, I'm like, because I'm looking to revert to Islam and do it with her. And then she's a Christian. She's like, no, I can't be a Muslim. I go to church and stuff like this. I'm like, whatever, I'll go to church too. I haven't taken Shahada yet. I'm like, I'll just go to church too. So I'm sitting there, and then I'm slowly like in the back of my head, I'm not gonna lie, I had an ulterior motive. I was like, I'm gonna extract her from this. I'm gonna expose this. You know what I mean? I was asking questions that I knew Amara was asking herself about the Bible, and then I started going a little further, and I started questioning the pastor and the minister in front of everyone. You know what I'm saying? And we do the same thing that they were doing to me when I was a kid, when I used to ask questions to the priest or pastor, and they would go, if they couldn't answer me, they would go, just pray about it, young man, and God will answer you. And I'd be like, man. I'm like, I'm an adult now, and I'm hearing the same thing. You know what I mean?
Allah honestly chooses who He wills, you know, towards a path. We don't get to choose it. Allah chooses whom so He wills. And if He blesses, alhamdulillah.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. I remember seeing lots of videos actually about people finding Islam in jail as well. Lots of people are finding Islam in jail. So it's a blessing in disguise, as one might say. You know, people that go to jail, they're like, oh, you know, I'm going to jail, it's so bad. But then they get there and they actually, you know, like Prophet, peace be upon him, he went to the cave because he found revelation there, but he went there to seek peace, to seek that solitude. And when you're in jail, you get a very similar thing.
Yeah.
So
you're just by yourself. You got time to think, you know. That's all you can do, is just reflect on yourself and your actions. That's what jail's for. Through that reflection, it's incredible how people see Islam as, you know, the truth. You know, like, it's such a powerful.
I believe it was Malcolm X. He quoted, and I don't know if I'm quoting him correctly, but he said, in America, for a Black man, jail is better than a university.
Wow.
You know, because he went to jail before he became this intellectual activist speaker. You know what I mean? He didn't go to college. You're absolutely right, Aisha. Like you find because self-education is larger than, not all. Yeah. But if you're just somebody already who asks questions, and you're put in a room by yourself for a very long time, self-education, your neurological activity will increase substantially. You know what I mean? Like the way you think and analyze and put things together. Like it's incredible how you can do that to an individual and they come back way better. You know what I mean? Like way smarter.
Well, I think like Brother Sultan has said, like, you know, it's, you know, who Allah wills, you know what I mean, to be guided to Islam. So those people who are in solitude, who have that time to really reflect and to think about, you know, what's you know what I mean, like what's their purpose, you know, why are they there, and you know what I mean, because get lost in the dunya, and that's what it is, you know.
We're constantly distracted. Constantly.
I saw a scholar actually mention this recently, and he said that if you're given like a big hardship in your life, it often is the reason that makes you come towards Islam. And Amara, was there anything in your life that was like big hardships that actually helped you converting to Islam?
I was drinking heavily, as far as by myself. You know, I was drinking, and I don't know if this is explicit for you guys or your channel, but I was drinking literally a bottle of wine by myself in my room, crying, sobbing my eyes out. And it would have to be late at night, away from my kids. You know what I mean? Because we never want your kids to see you in a down, and no one really seen me in that light. Everyone always seen me, you know, before I changed my name was Angie, you know, it was Angelina, but everyone used to say, you know, Angie's always this, you know, upbeat person. She was always happy, no matter what she went through. She's always, you know, laughing, smiling like my mom was, you know, you know, but they're going through so much hardships behind closed doors and gone through so much stuff. And, you know, going through all that, and all I was looking for was peace. All I was looking for was, you know, a family unity, because I felt like I didn't have that growing up, because since I lost that part of me, and being, you know, I'm not putting any family or putting anyone down, but the way after my mom passed, I didn't have such a great upbringing, you know what I mean? So with all that, and then finding, you know, Christianity, I did feel like being in that fellowship almost brought that sense of unity back, or that family sense. But then when everything started to be contradicting, or the way that I started to see people starting to do things within that, I'm like, man. And then to me, I felt like that was even more detrimental, because all my life I looked for peace. I looked for our purpose. I looked for, you know, a better way of life and family. And then that was cut off again, you know? So it's like, you know, and then I think that was a big pivotal point in my life, turning into Islam, when he just started, you know, saying, did you know this? Did you know that? Or, oh, about Islam. And I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Like at that point,
I was hitting her with science, math, and history. So like, I know she's a thinker. So
no, yeah, I am a thinker. I feel like I'm a critical thinker. So hearing those things, I'm like, I don't want to hear it, you know, but in my head, I'm just like, and then I would go off in the bathroom or wherever I'm at by myself, like just to kind of go into a different room, and I'd be on my phone looking up those things that he told me. And I'm
Allah.
I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, how is this not true? How is, you know what I mean? And I'm like, I know I found it, but I didn't say it right away to him because stubbornness plays a part. And it's like, I want nothing religion, you know what I mean, that aspect anymore. And that's what really got me into Islam. And then coming here into Texas from Massachusetts by myself with 7 kids on the airplane, because he had to stay in Massachusetts, and then he came later. You know, we were talking one night, and it was August 10th, and it was 11 p.m. something at night, and we were talking more and more about Islam, and I'm just like, well, why am I waiting? Well, just give me my shahada. I want to take it. Why do I need to wait? There's no need to wait.
Wow.
You know, because it's either now or never. And over the phone, you know, I just took my shahada with him, and I'm just like, for me, you know, what better witnesses than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the angels, and him, you know, as a Muslim at the time, you know, that was a blessing for me, you know, and that's how, you know, I turned into it. And I'm just like, and ever since then, it's just been like, you can't tell me anything different. Nothing has been contradicted. Nothing has been changed in the Quran. Anything that anyone has questions about is answered, you know, but it's just up to the person to take in that message, and, you know what I mean, and really fully understand it. And even the message is pretty clear, you know, kids understand it. My kids understand it. So,
MashaAllah.
You know, alhamdulillah, you know, I was led to it, and will forever, you know, be in it as long as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills for me to be here and to, you know, spread it.
Definitely.
Hopefully that wasn't too much.
No,
that was amazing.
Yeah, I think we covered mostly everything. So thank you guys for coming on. It's been absolutely amazing having you. You guys are just big balls of light, and it's so nice.
They say the Noor.
The Noor.
The Noor, yeah.
They say the Noor, but I just say, you know, it's our light.
Alhamdulillah. Well, make sure you check out their channel, everyone, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Assalamu alaikum.